Good morning, Ashley.
Hey, good morning.
So we wanted to meet today to just wrap up our coaching circuit. And I know that last time we talked, you, me, and Christy set up a peer-to-peer activity for you and Christy to do together wrap up the to wrap up practicing teaching your peers how to do an orientation meeting and talking about Band-Aid planning in the orientation meeting, and also, the parent support partner role along the ICC role. So just kind of wanted to check in and see how it went. If you talk a little bit about what you guys did and what went well and what you struggled with.
Sure. So what we did is exactly what you said. My role was to focus on the ICC, and Christy's role was to focus on the PSP, FSP. And in this meeting, we explained roles not only at the engagement phase and how the orientation meeting looked, but we went a little bit into the next couple of phases as well. So I explained what the ICC role is and in what way we can support the family. We incorporated the group, so we did like a mock first meeting with the family where I explained my role to the parent and Christy explained her role to the parent as well. And we also identified what paperwork is done in each phase, what the ICC is responsible for as far as gathering the information, informing the parent that we're mandated reporters, creating the discovery document, completing the Band-Aid plan with the family and with the child. And Christy did her thing. I don't need to explain that part. And we also discussed how we're a team and how we both will work with the family to support them as a unit. In the next phase, we further went into what we do. We talked some about the functional assessment, in what ways we coordinate with the potential team members and natural supports to coordinate services and ensure that everyone is on the same page as well. We also inform the parent that not only are their needs and goals important, but sometimes we have to ensure that the professionals' needs are integrated in the planning as well, to ensure that everyone's needs are met because we are a team. It felt comfortable explaining it and going through the process.
Oh, that sounds good. So it went pretty well.
Yeah,
Were there areas when because you were doing this in group coaching,
right?
And so it's many different people from across the region. Were there areas in there that do you feel like there are parts that group really gets? And where do you think we need to move forward? Like, what do we need to tackle in the future?
So in the future, we definitely need to tackle ways to encourage and kind of develop natural supports. I think that's a big thing, not only for the more experienced ICC workers and PSPs, but the less experienced ones as well. I think everyone has a struggle with that. And I know that's something that we discussed possibly talking about or not possibly talking about in the future. Mm-hmm. Some of the things I found that people were not necessarily clear with were who does what. So what the PSP does, what the ICC does. I know that Molly, at the beginning of the meeting, handed out a sheet that explained to the PSPs and ICCs how to best work together through each phase and who is typically responsible for what. So I think that helps some, but I think that people are still somewhat confused on, well, is this my role? Is this your role? Is it both of our roles? And that just means that we need to continue to communicate better about who does what and can we both do it in expectations of the ICC and PSP as a team.
Great. So I have on professional development plan, I wrote that down, that we still need more development of natural supports, and I would argue that's actually for our entire workforce,
Right.
but including you as the
Yeah,
facilitator and a supervisor of this program. And then I also put the continuation of understanding roles. I think that's going to be an ongoing.
I was going to say, I think so as well. It is very easy to get roles, they overlap some, even though the ICC and PSP do two separate things. You still want to support the family in the best way. So who is calling the family regularly, who's going out, who can take on this while the other person is taking on that. And I think it's definitely case by case. I don't think all cases are going to look the same as far as whose responsibility is it to do this task. So
yeah, and I think I'm putting that on as still need. I'm wondering if for this month, for your professional development plan and for goal, it would just be attending the coaching session that we're going to have on natural supports, and maybe doing a coaching circuit around how do you develop natural supports, how do we engage the natural supports on the team. What do you think about that?
I think that's a good idea.
Great. And so I have that. What we didn't talk about in the beginning was what celebrations you have going on. I did hear you say that the peer-to-peer activity went well, and that you took a leadership role in coaching. What other things are going well?
Our program is growing. We have reached our census goal of 12. And the other day, Molly actually told me that Joy approached her asking whether or not we had more spaces available, and I said yes, we do. We'll figure out how to make it work. But
So what are we at 12 or 13 now?
We're at 12.
Right.
So and Ty asked me last week when I was emailing him if we had space as well.
We're gonna make space.
Yeah, that's what I said. We will make space for it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any other celebrations?
Nope, not right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So we will wrap up this. I will send this PDP to you, and it sounds like we've wrapped up the orientation meeting and Band-Aid planning, and we will move forward with natural sports.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks.
Thanks.